Yo, 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 yo. Middle of the month already, bro. Just like that. But as always, welcome to the Freedom Cage podcast, where we lock into a free state of mind each and every pay week on all DSPs, of course. And to my left, I got my main guy, my ace, my left and my right this week, Shawn, Mr. Seniorly on all your socials.
You know.
And me, I'm Kenny, man, and let's King Kapnick on all those socials. And if you've been living under a rock the last week or so, Mr. Jeezy, Mr. J. Jenkins himself, got a chance to sit down with the one and only America's sweetheart, Nia Long. We did touch on it slightly last week during the live, if you happen to see it, but this episode around, we got to touch back on a couple of topics from the snowman himself. But before we get into that, my good brother, how you been so far? How's everything going with you this month?
Oh man, it's been a busy month, two back-to-back conferences, man. I'm still trying to get acclimated to the Eastern time again. But I had a hell of a time in Nashville, then in Denver. So you can imagine, bro, going from Tennessee, I think that's an hour back. You've been there before.
Yep, yep.
And then of course with Denver, man, that's mountain time. So that's 2 hours back. And then it was all happening during daylight savings time. So to come back into New York, man, the weekend was terrible, man. I was just trying to figure out life.
Yeah, at that point, just hold on to a pillow and just hold on for dear life, man. Just hopefully just try to beat the sun up, man. That's all you can do when you playing with that daylight savings time, man. I wish that on no,
Yeah.
wish that on no man.
Hell yeah, man. How about you? What's going on?
Good. Hey, man, girls are back. Basketball season is full effect. You know what I'm saying? We're not undefeated no more, but hey, man, it's a long season. It's gonna be a long season. You know what I'm saying? But you got to lick their wounds a little bit. You know what I mean? Helmet them a little bit. You know, but
Mm.
I think next week and they'll be all right. They'll be all right.
What happened? They brought out the ringer, man. What happened?
Yeah, she's kind of tall, man. But I told him, man. So hey, everybody's not gonna be your height. Some people might be a little heavier, a little faster, have a better
Yeah.
shot. But hey, that's when the team comes together and try to come up with a better game plan than you did last week. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they know going forward what not to do. I'll say that. I'll say
That's
that
a
for
fact.
sure.
That's a fact.
I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it's great to be, moving through the month, man. We're getting close to Thanksgiving, all that good stuff, man. But to your point, man, we're here to get into the deep conversation between Jay Jeezy Jenkins and Nia Long, man. And it's great to do a deep dive into it, man. We touched the surface. It just dropped. I actually got a lot of messages that day, like, y'all gonna talk about it already? Like, it just dropped. Like, give me a chance to watch it. You know what I mean? So, I don't want to hear no excuses from people now. Y'all better have watched it because we about to get into it, man.
Facts. Big facts. Big
Hell
facts.
yeah.
Let's
Hell
start
yeah.
off the gate, man. At the very beginning of the show, Jeezy jumped into a childhood trauma that I was unfamiliar with when he first mentioned it. But can you tell me a childhood moment that might have triggered you for something that made the man you are today?
Absolutely, bro. So my mom was born in Panama, and she had a very interesting childhood, a childhood that I didn't learn about until I actually got older. So whenever I used to get in trouble when I was young, my mother really didn't know how to have like healthy conversations. You know what I mean? And it is kind of dope that we have that as something we're going to talk about later during the show. But whenever I used to get in trouble, my mother's way of dealing with it was to, of course, take away anything that I found was fun and not talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can imagine, you know what I'm saying? I'm like 9, 10. This goes on till I'm probably about like 11, 12 years old, just because I got in trouble in school or, I didn't do something that I was supposed to do. Like my mom would literally like walk past me for like a couple days and not say shit. And it's not like I didn't eat or, you know what I mean? It wasn't like she would make sure I had what I needed, but what I needed at that time was to be able to talk to my mother and get the love from my mother. And I wouldn't get that just because I did something wrong in her eyes. And now I see that a lot in how I deal with situations when I don't like things. I don't really want to talk to the person. You know what I mean? And I'm still working on that even to this day because especially like my wife, she wasn't having it the minute we got together. The first day I tried to do that shit to her, the next day she sat me down. She said, "Oh hell no! Like this, you ain't gonna walk past me 2 days in
That's
a
how,
row." Like,
that's how it
yeah, you know. So I give it to her. She really helped me a lot with seeing that that was an issue. But yeah, man, that's a big trigger for me.
is. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. As far as a childhood trauma, there was one specific incident that kind of always stuck out with me because even as you was a young kid, you know, mom, but she always kind of gave off the indication that if there's a situation to kind of turn the other cheek, kind of let it slide, like live for tomorrow. You know what I mean? She was always worried or scared for me and my older brother at the time. You know, so I never really seen her get in any altercation outside of just arguments with me and my siblings. You know what I mean? Like that was the most it was, and it was usually because we probably did something we shouldn't have been doing. But there was this one time I might have been 8, maybe 9. We were walking to the store, and we're from Brooklyn. We jaywalk, so we was waiting in the middle of the street. You know what I mean? And a car was coming, but it looked like he kind of like swerved into us, kind of like kind of scare us for not being in the middle of the street. We stepped back, out of fear because we didn't want to get hit by a car. But mom took it a bit more personal than I thought it needed to be. It wasn't a very long block, so it was a red light. So we was able to walk up and catch up to the dude in the car. So my mom was like, "Come on, let's go." I'm like, "The sidewalk is straight." All right, you know what I mean. So we walking along traffic now. Now we walking this yellow line. We
Mm.
kept it to the car. She knocking on the window. "Hey, you ain't see us back there?" Da, 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 da. He rolls down the window. "A blood clot should be in the street, man." So now they're both got each other's shirts. She got him. He got him. I'm like, "Mom," I'm crying now. I'm not prepared for this, bro. Middle of the street. I thought we was going to McDonald's. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole nother situation happening. And when she looked at me, she saw my face kind of like, yo, I can't help. Like, you know what I mean? She
Hmm.
kind of let go, just said, cursed him out one more good time. Then he pulled off. And then, she checked on me like, "You all right? You good?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I know you mad. What he did wasn't right. You're going to get the large fries today." I said, "With the extra salt?" Like, "Yeah, extra salt." You know what I mean? But ever since then, I always tried to do my best to kind of be protective of her. Like, I always was worried. Like, if there ever is another situation, I always want to make sure I could at least kind of be prepared. You know what I mean? But that didn't happen until I got older. You know what I mean? But it was a rough week.
Yeah.
So everybody looked like a victim. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, "You look at my mom funny." Like, you know what I mean? And but that's one thing that taught me as far as the trauma, just being protective of women. I just felt it was a job at that point, unfortunately, which is not. Now that I know, it's not my job. You know what I mean? But I always felt I had to take that on.
Yeah, and it's amazing, man, how slight little instances like that, can kind of hang with you for some time. Yeah, because it was. I remember like it would be like 3 or 4 days, you know what I mean, and just like not understanding. All right, like I get it, I fucked up, but this is crazy. You know what I mean? Like whatever happened to the days of the, what I mean, the ass whooping and then let's go get some ice cream. Like, you know what I mean? So that one was different for me. But I can only imagine, being in that situation, right? Somebody's got their hands on your mom and you feel helpless. Like that's the worst.
Like the first time ever seeing like just anybody period have a hand. I was like, you know what I mean? I'm like, "Where is my brother when you need him?" Like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it was
Yeah.
I kind of definitely blew me for a shock as a kid. Pause. Oh,
Nah, nah. Shit, you don't prepare for that. Like you're a kid, you know what I mean? Like you was prepared for McDonald's, not for drama. You
I
know,
mean,
like
Happy Meal was at a maximum. Like, you know what I mean? It was far from a Happy Meal. Oh,
yeah, yeah. And me and you always and that's what I love about when we conversate, right? We always talk about like the different trials and tribulations that we go through. And as we go through this, uh at the root of all of this is the pain that we have. The pain you had in that moment watching someone put their hands on your mother, the pain I had of just that neglect and the fact that the woman who's claims she loves me and gave me life has the ability to act like I'm not even there.
that's so true.
Um, yeah. So why is it that it seems like pain is always at the root of how we tend to, I guess, want to better ourselves and to start to make change in the right direction.
Good observation. I think the pain part comes when the cup is kind of overflowed. where we can no longer manage what's going on in front of us. And then at that point, all of the emotion that you've been holding back kind of spills out. I hope comes out in a conventional way, but most of the time it doesn't. It's usually more
Mm,
anger, more hatred, more why this, why that. But these questions and statements usually probably could have been made some time ago. Like it wasn't something that happened on your way here. It's something that's been bothering you for some time. It's just something triggered it, unfortunately, or you seeing the face of someone at a certain point in time that kind of triggered that emotion and felt, well, now that you're here, now that we're going through this sad point, let me unload on you. You know what I mean? And us as a people, I hope we stop doing that. I hope it doesn't continue to happen, but for whatever fortunate reason, I can't talk for everybody. I can speak for myself, but it's avoiding a situation that's not positive is something that I still do to this day. Like if I know it's going to be a negative impact, or I just have a bad conversation, or it's not going to go away where I think it may go, I'll kind of detach from it altogether and just not worry about it. You know what I mean? But it won't. It usually doesn't happen until something has boiled over and
mm-hmm.
it can't fit in whatever it's fitting in anymore.
Right. No, and I totally agree with you. I think at that point when you've taken every positive move you make, like at some point, if it's right there in your face and you got no more moves left, it's like, all right, I guess we're gonna deal with it today. Like,
Mhm. For sure, for sure. Question
oh
for you.
man. Hmm.
Staying in the trials and tribulations of thought process, do you always feel that it's always right for black men especially, it always seems to be an uphill climb. Without that uphill climb, right? Do you think the light at the end of the tunnel won't be as bright?
Um, I think we're probably conditioned that way,
Mm,
and I say that because everything about our culture is rooted in suffrage
mhm,
and just disadvantaged, underrepresented. I mean, you find any diversity word in the book, and it all comes from struggle and then hopefully the rise to some sort of success.
sure.
And that success can have so many different looks and feels depending on who you are and what you're going after. But it is going to be an uphill climb as a black man. The minute that you walk out in these streets, you're at a disadvantage. No matter how you try to dress, no matter how you try to sound, you're still going to be a threat to someone in power.
Mhm,
Um, I I think that that's why our culture is just so impactful. I think that's why black love, and I forgot who I was watching talk about it, but that's why black love is just it's so impactful. It's so um attracting and it stands out. Like if you see a black couple in a room, they're gonna stand out amongst all those couples in that room just because of what they've gone through and how they'll show their love amongst each other. And it's not to knock any type of love from any other culture. Hell, we both got Latin women.
mhm,
But there is something about that that really stands out. So I think as black men, when we experience pain, that climb up the hill to your point is just it's a have to type
mhm.
thing. Like it's like spades. Like we not trying to lose. We could be down 250 to zero. It's like, nah, we about to get these blinds and get right
Yeah,
back in the game. You know what I mean? Like it's
sure.
serious.
And to hop on your point, as far as when they do enter the room, they kind of eyes kind of gravitate towards it. Honestly, more so because as much as it makes sense, it's a rare thing to see. It's
That's
just something that
true.
it's not that it's not weird. It's a healthy thing, absolutely. But just me personally, like my mom and dad, they just for whatever reason at some point they just had to go separate ways on their journey. You know what I mean? And we grew up that way. Whatever pain it was, we came, we experienced it, we moved on. But me and as far as my vantage point, it was just a rare thing to see. You know what I mean? And any
Mhm.
other shit outside of probably starring Kareem, I don't have too many other black on black couples to look up to. Like I'm saying, I got a ton of black men I look up to. I got a ton of black women I look up to, but a lot of them just aren't what their I guess affiliate in that regard. You know what I mean? And not
Yeah.
to, like I said, we're both Latin women. It takes away from any other sort of relationship you may have. It's just to see those two together and I guess beat all the turmoil, all whatever would have been slowing them down from becoming a bigger, better thing, it really gets to that point. So I think
Yeah,
it's just rare to see.
yeah, and I think right now, like like you said, outside of Kareem and Star, I think our most ideal black love couple right now would be Christina and Brian. You know what I'm saying? Like whenever they walk into a room together,
Facts, facts,
you could
facts.
tell they in the room. You know what I mean? And the way they just vibe off each other, like yeah, like that shit is dope, man. Shout out to them.
Facts, facts. Another thing,
Man.
with Hollywood, people always love a good nothing to something story, so to speak.
Hmm.
If you were, if you didn't have to go through the bad, do you think you would appreciate all the good times now?
Hell yeah. Like I love when my parlay picks happen 2 Sundays in a row. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I'll be walking outside, like I'll be feeling like the man when I walk through. Like, I'll be having my theme music and all that.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I totally get it. There is something different about you being down, down four and now you up eight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's something really, really big about that. You look at the LeBron Cavs coming back from that being down 3-1.
Mhm.
You look at any success story, man, and it just makes it that much more meaningful, and it hits different.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, would we have loved to have been, yeah, born into rich families? Why not? You know what I mean? But if we get to walk this long path of not being rich and to eventually be rich later in life, great. You know, you know what I'm saying? Now I have to write the book. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know what I mean? Now I have a reason to talk about this story. But I would like to piggyback this message. I think I would have been fine. You know what I mean? A couple of lessons I definitely wanted to learn. Like probably, yeah, I would not have known how to voyage a city bus. Like what I'm saying, it's just if you were rich, it's just some things you got to worry about. You know what I'm saying? Like said the Iron Horse, never would have seen it a day in my life. It'd have been
Right.
rumors, movies only. But
Right.
like you said, I do appreciate them now. Now that I've gone through the bad, but I definitely could have lived without the bad.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting too because with having that, you know, I guess, coming from the bad and now getting towards the good, there's that sense of responsibility that's there now. Like, all right,
Mhm.
you've come out of the ghetto, you've come out of a bad situation. Now, how do you go back and teach them how to do better than you did, or want for more than you did when you were younger? Which I adore that responsibility. I think is one of the best testaments to actually learning and
Mhm.
staying in the know,
Mhm.
is teaching it to someone else. So that is one thing that if I didn't go through it, I would have been sorry to miss, because I don't know what you can teach from inheriting being rich, instead, unless you've developed something even better than what your parents had, and then you can really like elevate the legacy.
Nia Long said during the conversation, intimacy is when we truly unpack ourselves. When Nia first said that, what were your initial thoughts?
So from my perspective, I took it as when I took intimacy in the sense of when you meet someone and you've got that intimate relationship with them, you start to learn more about yourself, and that instantly brought me back to the two very impactful relationships that I had and what I learned from them. And I should say one of the intimate relationships I had and the one I do have now,
Mhm.
because I hope she never leaves me. I'd go crazy. But they both taught me a lot about who I was at the time. And without meeting them and going through everything that I went through with them, there were some things I wouldn't have learned about myself. Like I would have never thought I had patience for anybody.
Mm.
And you know what I mean? That was something that intimacy definitely unpacked out of me. That shit was like deep down in the bag under everything else. It was under I think it was between the Hennessy and somewhere between the video games. Like it was somewhere stuck under all of that shit. Um but He was like, I know I got a pen in here somewhere.
I know it's somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, I felt on that because even with the good that I learned about myself, there was some dark shit I learned about myself too, about like how critical I could be, how I probably am not as clear in my communication as I thought I could be,
Hmm.
and how I was trying to make someone be someone that they weren't, not accepting them for who they really were. And those are moments where I had to turn the mirror around and be like, all right, if I want to be in a healthy situation, these are things that I've got to, notice and decide if I want to work on, right? Because I don't have to work on them. I can walk away and be like, shit, I'm gonna be the singlest nigga out here doing what the hell he want to do.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah, yeah. But that's how I took it, man. What about you?
Okay, okay. That makes mad sense. I was thinking about it more so from a comfort standpoint. Well,
Mm,
if you are very familiar with whomever this conversation is with, you would feel more relieved to let go or unpack something that you didn't know about. But to turn it back to your viewpoint as far as intimacy, being able to unpack things, I still find out every day as far as my communication, how I speak. It's just some things that me and my forethought on authority and having to answer um, really hurts me as far as being accountable for everything, or like you said, with conversation points. I really not a fan of authority. I don't like answering to anyone. You know what I mean? I'm still working on that today. So with that, a lot of accountability kind of goes out the window when you feel you don't have to answer to anybody. You know
mm.
what I mean? But in intimate relationships or having intimacy with your partner, your life partner at that, with me specifically, you can't just shut the door and be like, man, I'm over this conversation.
Yeah.
You gotta open that door again. And that's weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you slam the door with no locks. It's like, why would you? Like, you know what I mean? You thought I wasn't coming in? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm still learning every day as far as that. But she pretty much nailed that on the head as far as intimacy is when you truly do unpack yourself. But without then, like, I'm unpacking new suitcases every fucking month, it feels like.
Oh yeah.
But hopefully I'm running out of luggage soon, man. And we could just, I'm getting tired of these check-in bags, man. I'm not gonna lie. I just want to get it down to a carry-on and go on with my life, you know.
Oh man, that'd be the sweetest thing in the world, man. And for me, I would love to get it down to a carry on, but I like the exercise. You know what I mean? It's like fuck it, let's spice it up.
Just bring all the shoes, man. We'll talk about it when we get there.
Definitely, definitely, man. And that's dope because when you think about in that aspect of what your wife has been for you, that's important,
Mhm.
because it becomes more than just about just the simple definition of the word intimacy in the sense of being with someone that you care about and you love, but it's
Mhm.
almost to the point of this is someone who is investing in you and
Mhm.
letting you know, listen, I ain't gonna have you out here looking crazy. This is something that you got to work on,
Mhm.
and that's I think that's great.
Facts. That's facts.
Yeah, man. So there was a part as we move along in this conversation, there was a part with Jeezy where he talks about getting a phone call from Louis Farrakhan, and I'm just paraphrasing here. He talks about the sense of like be careful with your message because they watching you.
Yeah.
When you heard that, man, what was your sense on it?
When I first heard, I was like, if anybody's gonna give you a watch out phone call, you want it to be from Minister Louis Farrakhan, because there's no reason not to listen to it.
Right.
He is not one of your ops. He is not gonna lead you down the wrong path. He ain't gonna tell you nothing that he didn't feel in his heart. You know what I mean? I'm assuming. I don't know him personally, but when he said he received that call and then shit got negative immediately when he started to transition it from like the soul survivor, trap guy to the more I'm a grown man. This is
Recession.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm a
Uh,
grown man. That's what you should be doing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
hmm
Street life was cool, but that's something that's behind me now. You know what I mean? When Barack was becoming president, his message was changing.
Oh yeah.
Lewis. That's when Lewis called up. He said, "Bruh, you didn't hear this from me, but with your message changing, you're gonna have different eyes on you. And Jeezy just sounded like he took it as a not like a oh that's dope kind of thing. You know what I mean? He figured more eyes, more audience. I'm an entertainer. This works out for me. But he didn't know it would be those kind of eyes. Or they were getting arrested. You know, if you've seen the conversation, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
have you ever received a call from someone that you know that you may love or a close one, and they told you not to do something, and you still went against it?
Um, yeah. And this wasn't a call. This was more of a conversation. I feel like me and you have talked about this before. So a mentor of mine's Ed Peterson. I always talk about him on here because he always just gives me great information and advice. This is like 2015, 2014, 2015. I used to sit in this area at work, and we always had these like really loud conversations about nonsense. But I was having fun, man. This was a way to burn off steam before you went back to the cubicle and did the same mundane routine tasks for another
Mm-hmm.
3-4 hours, right? And one day, I'm in his office, and he's like, "Yo, you got to find somewhere else to be." And he just said it just like that. And I'm like, "You want me to leave the office?" Like, damn, bro. Like I I thought we was cool. He was like, "No, I mean, like when you go to lunch, man, you got to find somewhere else to be, man. I don't think that's the place for you." And I ain't understand it because I used to have fun. Like I was like, those are my friends, those are my people. I'm over there. It's lunch. What's the big deal, right? So then one day, again, I'm sitting over there. This is probably like a week or two later. He walks by, he looks at me, and he starts laughing and shaking his head. And then he keeps walking. And I'm sitting there, and I don't know what it was, Kenny, but in that moment, like I started like really hearing the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nothing around me of substance. There was nothing around me that was beneficial. It was just a lot of clitter clatter, laughter, loud noises, garbage. And I started to notice that to the left of where I was sitting, and then you make a quick left again, was where the VP sat,
Mm-hmm.
was where the pretty much the core of our managed care team, where they make all the deals with the insurance, sat.
Okay.
And every day for lunch, these people were right there where we were making so much noise.
Taking notes.
Exactly. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh shit, this is what he's trying to tell me. Like, if I ever want to make sure my name is in the right conversations, I need to get away from the riffraff. I need to get away from that loud corner that everybody on this floor hates, because when
Nice.
they go to lunch, it's the most annoying shit in the world. And I kid you not, bro, the minute I stopped sitting over there, everything changed.
Wow. See, it's always good to hear a message, but it's even better when you could, even if you don't absorb it immediately, being able to apply it before shit does hit the fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's always a plus. Always a plus.
Yeah.
Always a plus.
What
'Cause,
about you, bro?
when I was young, yo, you lived right over on used to be Caledonian, the hospital, over on Woodruff. Had what? Fifth grade. We was in school. I went to school in Brownsville, my IS. We came all the way to Prospect Park for like a zoo trip. Bro, I live around the corner from Prospect Park. It's like, all right, everybody back on the bus now. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm gonna, hold it. Like I can see my house. Like I'm going home. It's like my boy's like, nah, man, they're gonna be doing the head count. I'm like, so I'm missing. All right, I'm home, bro. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? He's just like, all right, man. It's just like, see you tomorrow, bro.
Hmm.
Come to school the next day. You know what I mean? Hey, where were you at the end of the trip? Oh, I went home because I live around the corner. And if you check my address on, I just figured, hey, they'll put one and one together. Like, oh, he was close. No, I got suspended for a week for like abandoning. I don't know, it was some wild shit. And my boy was just like, "I told you get back on the bus." I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna hold you to this day. I said, "Well, like, nah, that's stupid. Like, I'm not." But unfortunately, I didn't listen, and I got burnt in the situation. But
Mm.
any other time, any other trip, I always been back to school. You know what I'm saying? If there's any consolation after that. I did listen after that moment, but that very day, I didn't get it. I did not get it whatsoever. He was my homeboy,
Yeah.
too. Not even like a peer. He was like, my man. He was like, nah, I think we should go back, bro. I know we live right here. We should go back. I was like, I could get a nap in, before you even get back home, you know.
Yeah.
Never
No,
again.
yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. And it's funny. I still talk to, Ed about that day. I'm like, do you even remember that shit? He's like, hell no. But it just makes sense. And then I remember when I stopped going there, the like the questions I started getting, like, yo, you don't hang out with us no more. You ain't down with us no more. It's like, hell yeah, I ain't down with y'all no more, man. Like,
Y'all some knuckleheads, man.
yeah. Like if and what's so funny? The few who decided to start to change their career trajectory, they
Mhm.
stopped hanging out over there too. Slowly but surely,
I
one and
know.
two, they started all leaving that little area, man.
Yeah, that's how it go, man. You got to
Yeah,
remove the riffraff in order to shine. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
Throughout the conversation with Nia and Jeezy, he kept touching on the word integrity. It was something that he kind of almost rooted him. Like, it kept him whole. You know what I mean? If he had nothing else to rely on, he always felt he was very integral in everything he did. With that being said, why is integrity within black men you feel so important?
Because it makes us trustworthy, and it shows our character, and it gives people a sense that you'll be accountable in the sense if you're responsible for something, and I think that that's really important.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Hmm.
When I first was reading, I was wondering. I was like, I think your integrity might come from two folds. One, based on who raised you, whether it was a two-parent household or a one-parent household or a no-parent household. You take that with you everywhere you go. You know what I mean? You try not if it wasn't a positive reinforcement at the house, you probably wouldn't shine too much light on it on your outside endeavors. But if it was something positive, you try to make way of it and help. Hopefully, it helps you along your path. But I think as far as integrity and you standing on it is the first time you mistakenly put integrity on someone you might have known, assuming they were of the same cloth of you, or assuming they would do as you would do, because you feel everybody in your circle. Why would you do anything different from what I'm thinking? That's why we're all a team. That's why we're all together. Come to
Hmm.
find out, they let you down. You know what I'm saying? And then that's at the moment where you go, oh shit, my 10 toes and your 10 toes ain't the same toes.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But is there a moment when you noticed that without integrity, that other man really isn't the man that he may be in front of you?
Yeah. um it was, I want to say, early 20s. I was running around with two good friends of mine, and we love to party.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them became a DJ. The other one, I used to hang out. We all three of us used to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember shit like yesterday, man. I got a job at remember Sports Freedman's.
I still need them jerseys. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I remember when I got the job at Sports Freedman's, I'm hype. I'm like, yo, I'm in there, man. I think you was like the first person I called, like, yo, bro, we in there. And anybody who's from Flatbush know back in the days, man, say early 2000s, late 90s, Freedman's was a joint. If you wasn't at Dr. J's, you working at Freedman's, it was on point.
Big facts.
Um, so when I got that job, I wasn't as free as niggas was. I was working, right? You know what this was like. Once you get a job, if you ain't
Hey,
working, you at home. So I couldn't hang with him like that no more. But I'm on Flatbush. I'm on the strip. I'm on Flatbush between Church and Snyder. That shit was like being it on 42nd Street working at Foot Locker. Like you can visit me anytime. It's lit, it's popping. Y'all niggas could just double park right in front of the store, play music and hang out. They never really started coming through. And I always looked at it like, yo, wow. And I knew like these niggas was hanging around the entire day, all the time. So I remember I asked them, I was like, yo, what's up, man? Like, I know y'all niggas hanging out. Y'all ain't checking for me, nothing like that. Like, what's happening? And for a minute, like niggas couldn't answer the question, like for real. So then one day, like we really all sat down and I was like, yo, y'all gotta let me know what's up. Because we run around here like we boys, but I don't feel that shit. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? Like, I don't feel like I'm your boy. I feel like when y'all want to be around or y'all want to tell me y'all hanging out, y'all tell me. So then at one point, the the answers just wasn't making sense. And I
Mhm.
remember like yesterday sitting down with Tony and my brother and telling them, like, yo, I don't know what's up with these dudes. And he told me some shit that will stick with me for the rest of my life. He was like, you gotta stop expecting people to be like you. And you know, I know there's a popular video of Gilly saying some similar shit, but it's true. You
It
know what
is.
I mean? You know that we got to stop expecting people, to your point, to be standing on the same morals that we have, to be as honest as we are, to be as upfront as we are, because
Mhm.
it's like waiting for, you know, somebody to grow up that just they don't see the benefit in that. The
That's
minute I was able to absorb that, it changed my life. And it didn't necessarily lower my expectations. It gave me clarity on my expectations.
mm, okay. Okay. But yeah, it's usually a letdown situation. And it
Yeah.
might have, and honestly, looking back at it, they might have not been jealous, but kind of been envious at that point. It's like, damn, this nigga working, we outside. Fuck that, we outside. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, I'm outside too. I'm just, I'm on the clock. So, nah, you know what I mean? But, you know how it goes sometimes. It is what it
Yeah. Hmm.
is. Trying to think, do I have a issue? As far as integrity, a group of friends. I remember he was on a football field. I was quarterback and playing. It wasn't even like a real organized, it was just bullshit flag football situation. Me and got another team about to get into it, and I'm like, yo, I got cleats on. I ain't fighting you today. This is stupid. And my man's like, nah, you're. I'm like, nah, it's not even that serious. And like, dude swung. I was like, oh, I had to duck a punch. I was like, oh, we fighting right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I mean, after the fight, I won. But after the fight, I'm like, you niggas, like, if y'all ain't saying nothing, none all that extra shit wouldn't happen. Like, why y'all make more of a situation? He's like, nah, he was trying to play you. I was like, I think he was fine until y'all kind of, you know what I'm saying? There was really no real concern or issue until you kind of put the battery in his back. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And then what if I wasn't looking? What if he connected? Was stepping in? Like, you know what I'm saying? I would have been knocked out. Someone had to tell me the story later. Like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, I'm like, nah, I don't know I know y'all on my team, but that wasn't a team play. Like,
Right.
so
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, I gotta watch these niggas, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
ever since then, I started wearing glasses. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like,
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't blame you, because that's important. You got to make sure you're around the right people.
all the time, all the time.
Hmm.
But it's just Jeezy and Nia one. It was a healthy conversation at a minimum.
Yeah.
I was honestly full at the end of watching it. I felt like there was nothing more they could talk about. There's no more information I needed from either party.
Hmm.
I haven't had many experiences like that where this conversation was like fulfilling.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time you had a really good, healthy conversation where you kind of walked away, was like, kind of looked back like I was all right.
You mean outside of this podcast with you, man?
Outside of SCP, man. What you think?
So
What you
outside of FCP, man, I gotta say, there is someone on this Office for Diversity and Inclusion team at my job
think?
that, you know, they're young, but they have a thought process that's well ahead of their time, and they have this conversation that's very probing as far as conversations, and it does leave me in certain situations thinking like, shit, that was a good ass conversation, like, you know what I mean, because it's to the point where they understand and challenge at the same time, and then I walk away learning something, they walk away learning something, and then it's like we pick the conversation back up again really smoothly.
Mm,
And we worked very close together to plan the DEI summit that we just had.
mhm,
So yeah, like that was the last time, because you know right now, and I don't know how it is with everybody else in their company, but right now it's very tough because everybody's being asked to do a lot with a little.
mhm.
And right now, if you ain't got somebody to kind of vent to and say, "Yo, this is some bullshit," you're probably dealing with
Oh,
more
so,
stress than you need.
oh, so
Yeah.
real stuff.
Hmm.
I think I had a healthy convo. it was weird. It wasn't a real like verbal combo. It was a text conversation I actually had with my dad maybe about a month ago.
Hmm.
I sent him a list of like a few questions, just some things I didn't know about. It was like it's six or seven questions. I said, bro, I said, Dad, take your time. Don't rush on these. You know what I'm saying? Just whenever you get a moment, just shoot me these answers back. And it was more so what's your happiest memory of us? What do you want or wish most of me in life type shit? Kind of introspective kind of questions that you can't ask when it's too late. You know what I mean? And a few of the answers kind of had my eyes sweating. I was like, God damn, I wasn't expecting this one. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I had to hit him up like, yo, man, thanks. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know I needed. I know I asked these questions, but I didn't know I needed these answers. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, this was real cool. He's like, yeah, man, I'm here all the time. Whatever you need. I was like, nigga, I'm 39. What was you? All right, bro. I love you, Dad. You know what I'm saying? I love you, pops. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
He said, "Don't get carried away." Nigga."
he said, yeah, man. He said, yeah, I don't pay this bill. You ain't gonna see me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think I had a good combo with my pops as far as a healthy convo. Anyway, you know what
Awesome.
I mean? But he's real good. He's real good at answering questions via text.
Nice.
um, Question for you: have you ever gone to therapy? And if so, does it feel weird to kind of unpack your truths behind a paywall?
No, I have not gone, and me and my wife talk about this routinely. And
Mhm.
she's like, I know you won't go to therapy because you feel like you know everything. And I'm like, I don't feel like I know everything.
I'm just
I
telling you.
feel I just feel like me and you can sit here and have a conversation
Mhm.
and without a third party telling us what we need to do better. You know
Okay,
what I
so
mean?
when she brought it up, it was both of you going to see, not just
Yeah.
not her sending you off. Like, yo, I
Right.
made you an appointment. You should go. Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and listen, I don't knock anybody who goes, you know what I mean? I think that's really good. You know what I mean? That's really healthy for anybody who does go. But just for me, you know, I really don't want to pay anyone to have to be able to sit down and express myself. I feel like I got enough people around me where I can do that. And, in the instances where I can't, I just probably sit down somewhere and meditate, man, and let the thoughts reflect on my own mind until I feel like there's a right time, right place to have the conversation.
If it was part of the insurance claim, would you go? Like $5 $15 copay.
Probably not. Probably
Nah.
not.
$15 copay, 60 minutes. Come on down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I could do a lot more than 15. Yeah,
Mm,
me personally, like, not to sound ignorant, but I don't see the benefit personally in therapy, probably because I've never been, so I can't say that. Oh, I had so much to get off my chest. I usually try my best to get off whatever's on my chest to whoever is around, whether they want to listen or not. Like if I just got to get it off, I'm gonna get it off. A lot of times I just want to get it off and not want any feedback. Like you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to vent real quick. Like you know what I'm
right.
saying? Thank God for my dog Coco. Like you know what I'm saying? Like Coco's like, Coco hears everything I gotta say. You know what I mean? And she'd just be looking at me. I'd be like, you get it. Like, you know, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you
Like,
gotta insert a picture of Coco right here, man.
oh, yeah, me, Coco. You know what I mean? She's she listens to everything. You know what I'm saying? And there's no judgment. And she can keep it secret. You know what I'm saying? So it works out.
Hey, hey, listen, that's a good dog. That's a good dog right there.
That's fine.
Oh man, no, yeah. I think especially with healthy conversations, talking about therapy, um, as long as you have the right intentions, as I want to say towards your own self growth, that's very important,
Mhm.
and choosing the right outlets, right? If it's not going to be a paid outlet, make sure you have people who have your best interest in mind. Make sure they're they're listening to you for the right reasons. I know that's easier said than done, but
Mhm.
there's some shifty people out here who just around for the information so they could
Yeah,
ferry that shit somewhere else.
yeah. If it's not a paid convo, at least let it be a positive one. You know what I mean? So
Mm,
I do agree. Do agree with that one. Do agree.
absolutely.
Um, what's another one with healthy convos? As far as we was able, we had the liberty or the privilege to see, Jeezy and Nia get together on a cool stage, unpack a ton of truths.
Hmm.
If this was going to be a series to some extent, I'm sorry, going forward, is there anyone you would like to see in a similar light in a thought provoking kind of convo to this capacity?
Um, the two people who I think could have this conversation that would probably reveal so much would I think be Drake and Rihanna. I think that conversation where Rihanna can really probe and pause, but Rihanna can really have a deep reflection with Drake about his, his career, because I think he's been one of the most impactful, criticized artists we've probably seen since Michael Jackson,
Mm-hmm,
and for Rihanna to reflect on what happened with Chris Brown
mm-hmm,
and, kind of if she chose to have her moment to express what she went through. I don't know if that interview even exists.
mm-hmm,
Um, yeah, because I would have said Chris Brown and Rihanna, but right now I haven't seen any physical proof that Chris Brown is ready to have that kind of conversation.
mm-hmm.
But I would like to see Drake and Rihanna have that conversation.
Okay, all right.
What about
Um,
you?
I, not to poke fun, but I had Lori Harvey, her first boyfriend, like ever. That man just needs to know, like, yo, it wasn't me this whole time. I was thinking it was me. It wasn't me, man. Like, I just need him to get that one line off. Like, you know what I'm saying? But on a serious note, I would like to see the parents of two like hip hop stars kind of have a conversation just to see how life was on their perspective, whether it
Mm.
be like Jay moms and like Diddy's mom or something like that, just for them two to kind of have a conversation about that's what your son was. I thought, oh man, you know what I mean? Just for them to kind of have like back and forth through their lens, I think would be a cool kind of perspective of how fame came up from under them and then blew up their world. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But yeah, I like to see someone to that magnitude, like two famous people's parents having that
Mhm.
conversation versus the two famous people themselves. Question. I'm not gonna lie. Like at some point during that interview though with Nia Long and Jeezy, I know Jeezy had an album coming out. It might have been part of a rollout. I'm not here to say that, but I felt very rollouty. They both asked each other really good questions. I couldn't really tell who was interviewing who at one point. It just really
Yeah.
it wasn't an interview, like I said. It was really just a conversation. Um, do you think this type of conversational trend will continue?
Yeah, I think we've low key seen this already. It's just that these two are coming off of very public breakups. And to your point, it's just beautiful timing for Jeezy album coming out. I think he was on like three different shows. I think he did Angie, he did
Why?
EYL.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he blitzed. He did a whole yeah. He did a whole media blitz, and that's right. He's a brand ambassador now, so he knows how to get his name out there. He's been doing this for years. So, but I do think that a conversation this revealing is something that we needed, and I hope it does continue. What makes me nervous is like the threats of like the red table bullshit coming back. That's what's going to disturb it. You know what I mean? Because now all of a sudden you're gonna have people like this saying, "Oh, well, we've been having deep, thought-provoking conversations too." No, you've been dragging people. That's what you've been doing on your shit. So, yeah, yeah, I think it'd be interesting.
This was the conversation Will and Jada were supposed to have, but it didn't work
Mhm.
out. It didn't work out. We found out. not about August, unfortunately, when they spoke, and that was not where we thought that was going. Uh, but all right,
Yeah.
yeah, man. But salute more and healthy conversations in the future. Definitely need them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think really, hopefully, people will leverage these conversations more. I mean, healing thoughts of talks of talking about well-being, talking about feelings is becoming a thing now.
Yeah.
Like people are really, trying to sit down and hopefully do the work for real.
Hmm.
And you can make your life better, and probably somewhere through your story you can make somebody else's life better.
True. Facts.
Yeah.
Has to be. Has to be.
Oh yeah, man.
All right. But,
All right.
you got anything else on Jeezy Jenkins?
Listen, man. I've been a Jeezy fan for a long time,
Mhm.
and this just shows you that you can be all the things. To Nia's point, man, and this is going to be hopefully just the impactful grown man chapter of where he's taking the next step in his career,
Mhm.
and can't wait to see it, man.
Facts. Facts. I do hope he shot his shot though. That is Nia Long. Like, I mean, as you know, I'm single. You know, what I mean, I know you're not in a situation. You know what I'm saying? I got it. I do own a jet. Listen, if you want to go do something, I was like, you know what I mean? I get it. You know what I mean? But it'd be cool
Yeah.
to see them do even if it was bullshit, go catch a movie together with a camera on somewhere. That'd be dope.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And, hey, man, listen, that would be the most discreet relationship. We probably wouldn't know until maybe like six, probably not six, but probably like a year in.
Yeah, it might be one of those things. It'd be like, who's that baby Nia's holding? It's like, wait a minute, that baby look like Jay Jenkins. Nah, but yeah, they might just keep it discreet just due to the way their last situations unfolded in public. But I respect it again.
Yeah,
Shouts
yeah,
to them.
man.
Shouts to them.
Hmm.
Yeah, man, what else you got for tonight, my good man?
Oh, listen, man. By the time this drops, 2 days, man, the big 4-0's here, the big 40's here, man. Um, listen, just
Oh man,
yeah. Yeah,
happy
man.
early birthday, happy belated birthday. Put them on when it's dropped. But yeah, man. Hey, 40 strong ones, bro. The knees are still running, and the ankles are still, you know, what I mean, little tape on them, but they're still working. You know what I'm saying? Like, salute to another
Yeah.
40 more than minimum. But yeah, bro, 40 down, man. 40 down. A lot of candles in that
Yeah.
cake, though, my guy.
Oh, listen, man. I'm got to be a cupcake, man. I'm out here watching my A1C and shit these days.
Hey, if you don't, nobody else is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get all the P's and Q's.
Yeah, yeah, man. I'm just hoping these gray hairs get in some synergy, man. Like there's like right here in the bed, and then they're like in spots on them. It doesn't make sense right now.
Heard rumors that when you turn this age, like people just be gifting you what's that little box just for men. He would just be sliding under your cubicle door like, who in the hell? Who sent this? Who sent this to me? Thank you. Oh man, disrespectful bastards. But
Very.
yeah, man. Hey, man. I concur. It's like that, man. Stress in years equals grade, bro. It's life. It's life.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, people. Well, it is that time, man. We are so thankful that you checked in with us, man. Episode 65, man. Make sure you click in the comments, click the
Mhm.
link to all the merch, man. Get you a hoodie, get you a sweater, t-shirt,
Oh,
whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Remember, we are live each and every Wednesday on IG and all live streaming platforms. So whether you're here checking us out on YouTube, Facebook, X, wherever you want to see us, we are there. And listen, man, you are now released back into your regularly scheduled programming. Corporate life, parental life, entrepreneurship, whatever it is that you do, we salute you. I'm Senor Lee.
I'm King Captain.
See you back next pay week when we lock back in to a free state of mind.
Happy Turkey Day too, I think.